incredible. The fans are surrounding us currently. It's just a really surreal experience to be here tonight, really kicking things off for the Grand Prix season here in Las Vegas. And right now, joined on the ice as Paulina Marai. I think the best way to describe tonight is just the energy is so high, and really leading up to what's going to be Olympic season in just a few months is just incredible to talk about, right? Talk to me a little bit about how you guys are feeling leading into night one of Skate America.
Well, I think the energy has been unreal tonight. You know, the fans are so excited to be back watching live skating, so are we. And it was great seeing so many standing ovations, honestly, tonight in the crowd.
As someone who is a millennial, I love streaming, but there's nothing like watching an event live, and it was really intense. And I think that as a former competitor, I want to see good skating, and I'm rooting for all of the skaters. So we saw a lot of hard falls, and that's the reason we come to these events, because competition is so different from practice. And I think these are some surprising results today.
And before we get into the nitty-gritty of what we saw tonight, I want to talk a little bit about fans back in the stands here in the arena. I mean, last year, there was no one. It was just the skaters on the ice, and we're back to what is a live audience. How does it feel, hearing from the crowd, the reaction that they're giving, the cheers? What was that like for you guys, specifically, being watchers instead of skaters in an event like this? Paulina, how about you?
I love watching skating. I always have, even when I was competing. So to be here now and really be focused in on how everyone's doing, for me, it's just been a really fun time. And I know for the skaters, it feels a lot more personal to actually have people in the crowd cheering you on, whether you're falling or not, whether you're landing everything or not. It's all energy that you're drawing from.
And Marai?
Yeah, I want to point out Kevin Amos's performance, because he is a wonderful skater. I hope that everyone saw that aerial cartwheel no hands. I'm so sorry, I don't know what the specific name for it is, but it is so incredibly difficult with blades on your feet. And his program performance today was not a reflection of who he is as a person and skater, and so it was really hard to watch because we wanted him to skate so well. And those falls that were painful, that's a reminder how difficult skating is. And to watch how the crowd got behind him and was like, let's go, keep going, we got you, that meant a lot to me, because as a skater, that was always so important to me. So I think that, seeing all those fans tonight, I hope that they know, he knows that we're all here for him, and we want him to make the comeback that he's looking for.
Right, and to go off of that, you said that the audience really was behind him. At the end of his program, he got up, and the people in the crowd just made everything in that moment. They stood up, they clapped for him, cheered for him, and that's really impressive. I want to give you some details on what Kev actually experienced over the last couple of months. He's going off what it was a groin injury many months ago. That was back in August of this year, and then immediately got back into training in September. So we're talking just a few weeks' time of him really getting into it and getting back onto the ice. So the fact that he was able to get out there and perform, maybe not the best of his ability tonight, but still finish the program, is really incredible to see. Paulina, how do you feel about that?
Totally. I thought especially him going for that last triple axel really showed his fighting spirit. He wasn't giving up. He finished his program, and the program itself, his skating is phenomenal. He skates so freely, great components. He's a fantastic skater, and he did show that side of his skating tonight.
I think what we want to show off now is talk a little bit more about the men that we saw tonight. First, let's look at the official standings after the short program. We're going to bring that up on the screen now. Vincent, first place. We got to talk a little bit about him as well in a few minutes here. Shoma in second, Jimmy in third, Nathan followed in fourth place. I mean, we really saw a lot.
I'm listening to the replay because I never got the notification when it went live. I want to rewind that last 30 seconds.
Vincent, first place. We got to talk a little bit about him as well in a few minutes here. Shoma in second, Jimmy in third, Nathan followed in fourth place. I mean, we really saw a lot of great skates tonight. Definitely, I think, a little bit different than what people may have expected going into this, but still, nonetheless, I mean, incredible performances that we saw across the board from many skaters. So I would like to talk a little bit about, Paulina, first with you. Who stood out the most in terms of the competition tonight for the men?
Obviously skating first, I think Vincent really laid it down tonight, and he set the bar pretty high with a fantastic quad lutz triple toe.
Beautiful.
So good. And his smile as he landed, it really just radiated through the crowd. And I really thought that he skated very well tonight. And I thought he had so much speed. He's really
Sorry.
grown components-wise and in his presentation. So for me, definitely so happy for Vincent tonight.
Yeah, we're taking a look at some of that video now. I mean, just everything. He just really has what you're looking for in a skater, both technically, I mean, just across the board, really stood out tonight, and I think it was incredible. And I would also like to ask Mariah the same question to you. Anyone in particular that stood out tonight?
I mean, the top three is definitely a surprise, but we have to give a huge shout out to Jimmy for being in the top three. I've been watching these practices and going on to a little bit of a different skater, obviously. We are surprised that Nathan is in fourth place. I have to say that watching his practices, he was really
I'm not trying to pause it. I'm trying to get the right part of my screen to go off of the screen, and when I do that, it keeps pausing the
honing in
feed.
on the axle. He was practicing it over and over and walking through it, and then to land the triple axel so beautifully, I think that he got his triple axel done, so kudos to him. But just not nailing that combo in the short program is really killer to the points. And so knowing Nathan, he's such a fighter, he'll come back in the free skate. But I have to say, I love Nemesis. I'm so happy he's brought it back.
No, absolutely, and I completely agree with that. I also want to talk a little bit about more Nathan as well. He ended up in fourth place tonight. A little bit of a shocker for some people going into a competition like this. We're going to show some of his highlights as well here. I mean, great performance, but definitely missed a few things here, which was big. I think a lot of people were, when we heard the audience's reaction, we had a fall, and I would love to hear maybe what you guys have to include in on that as well. I mean, a lot of this has to play in, I mean, the pressure is on when you're in a competition like that leading up to Olympic season. I mean, this is a big deal for a lot of skaters tonight. Paulina?
You know, ice is slippery, and we see that today with Nathan. You know, he has such a difficult program technically, and it is high risk, high reward. And tonight it just didn't work out for him. But tomorrow's another day, and it's only the short program.
Mariah, how about for you?
You definitely can't win with a short program.
But you can
I
lose.
just wish he had been able to do a double toe, because if he had done a double toe, the points would be so different. The rules of skating are so unforgiving, and I think that I still love it, but it's also sometimes so hard for me to watch because I want it so badly for all of these skaters. So, like I said, Nathan's a fighter. He's coming back tomorrow, and laying it down. It's Olympic season. He's got a lot to prove.
Now, Paulina, I also hear that you were interested in talking a little bit about Nam as well. Why don't you go into why you were so excited to talk about him?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that he skated really well tonight here. He had a great, solid quad sow and triple axel. Definitely lost steam at the end of his program, missed the last element, but I was really surprised at the component marks being pretty low for him, mostly because I thought that his stature on the ice and his presence was excellent, and he has such great lines. So definitely an emotional skater. He gives a lot of feeling in his skating, and I thought he had a great program, lots of potential.
No, I love that. And I think we should also talk a little bit about the pairs tonight as well. Right, we'd be amiss to talk about it. They were the ones that kicked off the entire Skate America tonight. And there were a lot of great skaters as well. Anyone in particular? Oh, actually, we're going to show up some standings on the board. Just really some incredible performances tonight. Just first with Evgenia Tarasova and Vladimir Morozov, just were incredible. We really saw some amazing skaters out there. And I also, Paulina, from you, saw a few tweets about dresses, costumes, as well as they got out there to perform. I mean, you were commenting a lot of those skaters tonight about how they looked. Their presence also plays a part into this as well. It's not just about getting out and ice skating. It's about the entire package. So for you, being able to see that yourself, what was that like? Really seeing everything together, the entire performance.
You know, it's funny because as a skater, I've always felt that those details are very trivial and not necessarily important to the actual performance because it is about what you lay down on the ice elements wise. But, you know, sitting in the crowd, it's always fun to comment on the costumes and the hair and, you know, the music selection. And personally, I thought Alexa looked amazing tonight in her ponytail and her red dress. So it was fun.
Yeah, they were amazing. And I would like to ask you, Mariah, is there anyone in particular that stood out to you? Any favorites that you had performances-wise?
I think as skaters, we wear our hearts on our sleeves, and so to see the joy that the Americans put into their skating, the way that Jessica and Alexa landed their throws, just to see that genuine happiness, I think that's why we all come to watch these skating events, and so I was so happy for them. But I have to say, the collected calmness of the Russians, it was quite beautiful. And the way that even at the end, it seemed like just a walk in the park for them. She was not breathing heavily, and I was like, wow, the Evgenia and Vlad are trained. And this, I'm looking forward to the free skate because that's where stamina is a challenge.
Well, and I think that's a good segue into this as well. You mentioned Alexa and Brandon, Paulina. Now, after the short program right now, they're currently sitting in 5th place. That was partly because of a mistake on one of their side-by-side jumps. But as you mentioned, I mean, you never know what could happen in the free skate. There's still a whole separate section to this where they could make a comeback. And I think that is sometimes what people forget, is that this is only part 1. There is a part 2 to this. So a lot of the things that you may have seen tonight, there still is a chance for a lot of these ice skaters to come back and really make a shining moment. Paulina, let's start with you, what you feel about that.
Absolutely. You know, the free skate, there's obviously a lot more elements to the program, which can add a little bit of comfort to a skater just because the short program, you don't have a lot of wiggle room. But the free skate is really where you hone it in and you bring it home. So everybody has a chance when they lace up their skates. Actually, Christy Ness used to say that to me before I competed. I take that super to heart, and I think it's true for all skaters. Yeah.
And Mariah, how about for you?
I have to say that with that step out, because he put 2 hands down, that was where the deduction came in. I also want to bring up the Japanese pair team because Japan has really worked hard at excelling at disciplines outside of single skating. And so to see Ryuichi and Riku put together this beautiful performance, it was flawless. Just that knee bend, that even individually, both of them have great skating skills, and to see it all coming together for them Olympic season, I think that, you know, they have a great chance for a medal at the team event.
Very strong. They're very strong.
I mean, yeah, looking at this video, it's just incredible to see. Now, I want to also just talk about briefly, I mean, we mentioned it yesterday as we were seeing a lot of these practices for ourselves and standing together and talking a little bit about it. Now, a lot of these skaters do go in hoping to potentially move on to what's going to be the Olympic season, but every skater or pair skater goes into a different mindset when they come into a competition with what they're hoping out of it, whether that's something, you know, placing within the Grand Prix season or going beyond that. So how do you feel mentally wise going into a competition, how that may stack out for certain skaters? Paulina, how about for you?
Well, I think this really applies to all skaters, but consistency is really all you want to be showing at this point, so that you are reliable in the judges' eyes and in your own federation's eyes too, as they support you in your season. But really, all the skaters need to bring their A game to every event this season because all of it is the build-up for what could be the Olympics for every skater.
And Mariah, how about for you?
This is a loaded question.
It is.
I think
it's a hard one.
Yeah, I think that the skaters are all putting themselves out there, and even though it's a choice to go out there and be judged, and figure skating is very subjective, at the same time, it's so difficult to tell these skaters because at the end of the day, they're humans and they make mistakes, but at the same time, we want to make it really easy, and we're like, just do it. Just do it. Almost skate. I remember this article that Karen Ched said that Christy Yamaguchi gave her the advice to skate stupid. So try to think a little less. And, you know, you're putting yourself out there. You want to be in the spotlight, but at the same time, when that doubt creeps in, it just starts to crumble. And so it's always easier said than done. But I just wish, I mean, I think we're all rooting for all the skaters.
We are.
I'm asking hard questions, guys. That's where we're getting at. Loaded questions, to say the least. But now, some nerves leading into tomorrow, right? We've got some big skaters. Women and dancers are going to be up tomorrow morning, first thing. And what's it like night before the competition? How does it feel? Is it scary? Is it scary getting ready for such a big moment, stepping out into the ice? Personally, for you guys, I mean, it's an incredible feeling, but also an incredibly scary feeling. Paulina?
Definitely. I think there's a really mixed bag of emotions where, in one perspective, you're very, very proud to be at an event like this. It's a huge accomplishment in any skater's career to even be skating internationally as a senior in the Grand Prix circuit. But with that comes immense stress, immense pressure to really perform and deliver what you can in practice. And that is the biggest challenge for any athlete. So definitely a mixed bag, but I would hope that people draw more from the excitement rather than the anxiety.
And Mariah, I'd rather ask you the question, is there anyone in particular that you're most excited to see perform tomorrow?
So I just watched Sasha Trusova in Boston, and the difference between practice and competition really showed. And in practice, she made me believe that I could do quads because she made them look so easy.
Which, by the way, they're not.
No, it's impossible. It's out of my cards, but just watching her do them, it was just like, I'm speechless because they were so easy. And then, in your program, you can make that one mistake and then you start to second guess everything. And I think that's what happened in Boston. We noticed today that she was missing from the practice today. So I'm very interested to find out what's going on there, because once you register for the event, you cannot practice elsewhere. So it seems very interesting. Is it a strategy, or is she injured? I don't know, but I want to know.
Well, lots of things to look forward to tomorrow. And up on the screen right now, we're actually going to pull up the look of the entire schedule of what it's going to be like. I mean, we have a loaded day ahead of us. I know Paulina, Mariah, and myself are very excited. It's going to be an early wake up and a late night to go to bed. So if you take a look up on the screen here, you'll be able to find more information on this. And remember, you can watch the full events on Peacock Premium and more coverage on NBCSN to check your local listings for further information on that. And you know what? This has been an exciting day. I feel good. It's day one. We're here at Skate America. And what is better than being in Las Vegas? I can't wait for more coverage this coming weekend. And don't forget, you can join us more right here at the Ice Desk over the next couple of days. Thanks, guys.
1:35 in the afternoon is not early in the morning unless they're supposed to get up and watch the practices. Okay, so thanks for listening with me and Woof Woof, and all right, bye.